The Veteran Project. 4 vets, 5 vets.
We are not responsible for any trauma, PTSD, tinnitus, or flashbacks during this podcast.
Hooray!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Veteran Project. So, as you can see, we got a former guest here.
What's up?
But sitting next to him, we got his new guest. But before we get to them, all right, I personally just wanted to say thank you. I hope you guys had a great Veterans Day.
I did. Yeah.
And I'm going to give an introduction to Jay, who's sitting out back, doing what he does best.
What's going on, guys?
And then you got me, Jeff, a.k.a. Johnny Cash, just doing his thing, shooting the shit with these guys. So the way that I start every episode, Bob, have you watched any of these episodes
I
yet?
have not yet. No.
Okay. It's a little blunt, the way I start this.
Okay.
All right? So, who the fuck are you?
Nobody. I'm Bob Michinzie.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
Same, yeah.
So Bob Michinzie is Chris's dad.
Yep.
And so it's been a ride trying to get Bob to come in, and finally we were able to get him in here with Chris, and we're going to be able to hear a different side of the perspective of what it's like to grow up with a father figure during a time of war. And Chris has his personal stories, and Bob, you're more than welcome to share whatever you like to share. And this is a safe spot right here, but your family will be hearing it and stuff like that, just to give you a heads up. So Bob, you served in Vietnam.
I did.
And like I said, you don't have to get crazy on getting into it. It sucked, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
And it created you to be the man who you are today. Would you say yeah, no, maybe so?
Yeah. I mean, it was just an experience I never thought I'd go through. Being a Marine over there at the time, and the way it was back here in the States, people hated us.
Yeah.
It was just, and I'd come back with a lot of problems. My son can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Chris, when he came back from Vietnam, that was in 19.
So I came home in 1972.
All right. And Chris, how old were you then?
One.
Okay.
So I didn't. So he's my stepfather.
Yeah.
Right? So when did you start dating mom? Like
74.
74, and you guys get married in 76, 77?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I was a little tyke. Like 5, 6 years old when him and my mom got married, and I always thought he was kind of mean, I guess. That would be as a little kid, that's kind of the best word I can come up with, right?
Yeah.
He never, I can honestly tell you, he never hit us. He never did anything like that, right? So that's good, right?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I don't remember, it might have been late middle school, or I feel like it was late middle school. I was just looking through a closet and I found a photo album. And it was red. It had the Marine Corps emblem on it. And I knew he was in the Marines. I didn't understand the timing of everything.
Yeah.
Of when you were there and when you came back and all that other stuff. And I'm looking through the book, and there's pictures of him in boot camp, and he's looking all strapping and whatever, right? And then there was one picture that I've never ever forgotten, and you were in Vietnam, and you were standing over a mass grave. And I was like, oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
And then I shut the book, and I never looked at it again. When I look at my journey, my wife would often say, maybe you should go talk to somebody. I'm like, I'm fucking fine. What are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
It took probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years before I addressed things that were going on with me. And then that made me think about my childhood, and I'm going, okay, so he met my mom, got married, and that was right around that same time frame, that 8, 9, 10-year range,
Yeah.
right? And you didn't. When did you start talking to somebody?
Oh, your mom, oh my God, it was probably 18 years after I came home.
Yeah.
You know, my wife said to me, she was the love of my life,
Yeah.
you know.
And now when you got married to, what was your mom's name?
Patricia.
Patricia. The obviously, so you have several siblings.
Yeah.
And at that time, you took on a huge, undertaking of taking on, I got this amazing woman with these kids. And, that was a new challenge that you were also facing. And how was it to, like, you come home from Vietnam, you meet this amazing woman, and then you got all these kids.
She had Chris and Kerry.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 of our own, Megan and Angela.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to be a father.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in my house, maybe my father went through a lot of shit. Excuse my language.
Oh, you're good, man.
Being a Second World War veteran. And I think my entire life, my father was probably with us for 8 years.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to be a father. I really didn't.
Yeah.
You know. But it wasn't until later on in life, many years later.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more proud of him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've noticed, like, because when we first met, and because we met at Disney World.
Yep.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm Chris's buddy Johnny Cash, and you're like, oh, I'm Chris's father. I was like, what? And then you were like, I was in the Marines, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, why haven't I heard this from Chris at all? So, and I just thought it was neat because I'm like, all right, okay, well, I'm at a special event for Chris, and then meeting you, and I was thrilled to meet you. I was like, okay, I get some funny stories, that I've told you and all that, but the thing that I've always found interesting with the Vietnam era, and then having a family at that time, it is that, like, that what you see on TVs, like the 70s corny, like, very colorful retro stuff, and you got dad is a World War II vet, Vietnam vet, and the whole transition, after Vietnam, Chris saw you go through, and Chris, what, and I'm sure there was a couple times where you felt, okay, I'm about to go into the military, did you, ask Bob for any type of help or any, like any, did you guys talk,
No, we it's funny, we really didn't talk a lot about it. I mean, I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. It was pretty matter of fact, right? And I think he's just like, look, just do what you're told to do, you'll be fine, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's funny that we didn't really talk a whole lot. We still don't talk a whole lot. We probably should talk more than we do, but I think there's a level of mutual respect.
Yeah.
Because we both went to war.
On what to talk about.
Right?
Yeah.
And we can talk about things without talking about things, just like we can talk about things without talking about things, or we can talk about things we want to. I mean,
yeah.
It's just, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different. I don't know how else to really describe it.
Because my generation, we see the Vietnam guys do, like, you guys are hardcore. That's how my generation sees it. His generation sees Vietnam and the World War II guys, the end of an era and, coming on to an end of an era. And now, when you got home from Vietnam, you came back to Boston. You're from Norwood?
Yeah.
Norwood.
Yeah.
And what was Boston like Massachusetts like back then?
Very liberal.
Yeah.
Coming home, we flew into Travis Air Force Base, and we had to wear the uniform of the day, which was our Class A's.
Yeah.
And I just finished reading the Stars and Stripes newspaper, and they were saying how there was all these protests going on and stuff. And I had seen some of it before I had gone over. And, I'm looking out the window in the tarmac, and there's like 1,000 people there. And I'm thinking, they're wrong. All these people here to greet us.
Yeah.
We get off the plane. They weren't there to greet us. And this one kid came up to me, and I'll never forget the look on his face as long as I live. He had a cup, and he looked at me, and he smiled, and he threw it at me. It was a cup full of piss. And my first thought was, if I can get into my sea bag and get my K-bar, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
And I was very bitter after that.
Yeah.
And then getting back to Boston, I was always proud to wear my uniform.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it off fast enough.
Yeah.
Just
getting side-eyed and,
yeah.
just...
And the little snide remarks, murderer, baby killer, rapist.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how, like, the media controlled?
So what's interesting is from that period till pretty much September 11th, you were encouraged not to wear your uniform when you traveled.
Really?
Yeah. Right? And then after September 11th, they encouraged you to wear your uniform when you traveled. Because people were behind that, right? Because we just got attacked.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see how it changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because World War II, obviously, wear your uniform.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I don't know about Korea.
I'm not sure. I don't know. But
mean,
I know in Vietnam we had to.
Yeah, I mean, they call it the Forgotten War for a reason, I guess.
Yep.
But, yeah, it's interesting how things shift.
And that's wild to think, because like out in Vietnam, like the people that lived out there, they loved the United States. And then you come home and it's like they don't see the bigger picture of what was being accomplished out there. Now I'm sure it was a lot of running around in circles out in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
Chasing a ghost for the most part.
Yep.
But those people admired you. They opened their doors to the Vietnam guys, and then you come home and it's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And it's fucked up. It really is.
They didn't like us.
Yeah.
They really didn't like
but
us.
and I know, like I said, my generation, we see you guys as fucking badasses. We appreciate that. But when I got into talking to you, I did some reading up on the Vietnam War. I watched a lot of documentaries after we talked, and just because I know about it, my generation knows about it, but we don't know about it. So we just know of like the main battles of anything.
I knew a lot of guys were going to be really screwed up. When my brother came home, he was there during Tet Offensive.
Yep.
And that first night he was home, he said, "Hey, do me a favor, wake me up tomorrow morning. I want to go out early and meet my friends." And I went into his room to wake him up like I normally did. I grabbed him by the shoulder. Mm-hmm. He jumped out of bed and he threw me on the ground and he was literally choking me to death.
Yeah.
He had no clue where he was. If my mother hadn't come into the room, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.
That happened to me a couple times. My wife, she woke me up one time. I almost knocked her out.
Yeah.
Luckily, I saw who it was before I threw the punch. And then there was one night up at the Kank where Chops and somebody else came in the room to wake me. I don't know. There was some sort of shenanigans going on.
Could have been me.
And I don't know. Could have been. And they came to wake me up, and I think I had my gun under my pillow.
Oh.
Right? And I came up, I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, Jesus Christ, go back to like, what the... Yeah.
Yeah, I slept with a gun under my pillow for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, out in Vietnam, hope this is okay to ask. What was your patrol, your daily life like?
A lot of times it was boring.
Yeah.
But But then all of a sudden, you start getting incoming. They like to shell us and mortar us all the time, you know. And then you have to worry about the
Some things never change.
the dinks, you be working with them side by side, and next night you get hit, and next morning the guy you were working with the day before, you found him out in the field because that fucker was trying to kill you.
Yeah.
He was a VC. We did some patrols, and we walked into an ambush one time.
Yeah. Shit yourself?
I got a knife. I got stabbed through the wrist.
Okay.
We stopped, and I pissed on a bush, and that bush jumped up and stabbed me. I never even. He was so well camouflaged, it's just. But there was a minute I was there that I was not always petrified.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you were afraid to let your guard down,
Yeah.
I didn't even know we get stabbed. That's the first time I heard that.
And
Yeah.
The so nowadays, if you go out into the woods and you take a piss, are you nervous?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
It's just amazing that like this other sense comes in and just.
Yeah, it's like that eerie sensation of like, where it's like, sometimes I'll smell the weird fires of Afghanistan again, and actually the last time was at your house, and I just remember walking up and I'm like, it smells like Afghanistan the way that wood's burning right now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and because there was just such a distinct smell, and like the people out there, they lived in mud huts, so they were always having fires during the middle of the summer to cook their meals, and it's just, I don't know, it's just the smell that sticks with me.
Yeah, the smell that brings me back is like burning stuff and porta potty.
Yeah, so
That's-
we have wag bags.
I'm not even joking. That's what that country smelled like. It was kind of disgusting.
Yeah, we used to have guys that they had these 55-gallon drums that would cut like in a third, and if you screwed up, you had to go out there and pour kerosene in there and burn the shit.
We did that.
Hey,
Yeah.
guess what? I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I was fortunate; I never had to.
we did that when I was in Iraq. That was an actual detail, shit burning detail. You had to, and that's what they cut those barrels into thirds.
Yeah.
Right. I remember my driver Dave. He's like, "Hey man, I haven't pooped." I'm like, "Okay, when was the last time you pooped?" And he's like, "Oh, like last week." I'm like, "Dude, that's not good. Like you need to." You go, "No, I'll be all right." I'm like, "No, I'm telling you, it's not good." Anyway, we climbed way up to Iraq, and we're in Baghdad, and he's like, I think I have to poop." I said, "Okay. Do you need company?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "All right, let's go poop." So we went to the tent, thinking, I don't know what we were thinking it was going to be like, but it was just a fucking tent. It's like a GP medium type thing, right? And they had legit, it was like sticks in the ground with a sheet, right, shaped like a V. And they were next to each other, right? And you could just look at the guy across from you if there was somebody across from you, which is super awkward, right?
Yeah.
So he's on one and I'm on the other one, and he's pooping, and right before he pooped, he put his hand through the sheets. So I'm like, "Do you want me to hold you?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Okay, buddy," right? And then he pooped. It was kind of amazing. But yeah, anyway, that was a long poop story, I guess. But
Well, I'll tell you what.
it was pretty funny.
I was afraid. I didn't want to get caught with my pants down.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from living in a sheltered life, and all of a sudden people are trying to kill you.
Mm-hmm. And then you got to poop in that
Yeah,
environment.
and I didn't want to. I was afraid to take my boots off.
Yeah,
Like literally, you don't want to get caught with your pants down.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember the movie with Richard Pryor, Some Kind of Hero?
Yes. Yeah.
That's how he got caught. 'Cause
That's
he had
right
to
too.
poop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So apparently that was a real thing.
No, I got a good pooping story. It was we were on a patrol, and I had that virus that you get from drinking the water overseas and all that, and I'm probably fucked up now because of it. I don't know, but I had just opened up a new pack of gloves. I was like, hell yeah, I get to break these in finally, and but all of a sudden I just feel my stomach gurgling. We're on a patrol halt. And I'm like, oh fuck! So I go into my drop pouch where I always kept my baby wipes. It was empty. I was like, oh no, I don't know what to do. So I just looked down at my glove and I'm like, "I'll get sacrificed today, buddy." And I left, and it was on the corner of somebody's compound. Because I just. But, same thing. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't get into a fight right now with my pants down.
Yeah, crazy. The Vietnamese used to just drop trow.
Oh, I'm sure.
Walking down the street, and all of a sudden, male, female, didn't give a shit. They just,
It's,
they had to go. They just dropped, and that was it.
yeah, Afghanis did that a lot. You'd think it was a dog shit in the middle of the road, but it's really just a human turd.
We didn't have any real toilet paper. We had sea rations.
Yeah.
They had this little brown packet.
Oh, yeah.
That brown packet still exists.
Yeah, it still exists. That little,
Yeah,
it's
it comes
napkins,
comes in the
right?
What the
MRE.
hell is this?
Yeah.
You know?
You had to have like 14 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And then if you have the wet wipe in there,
We didn't have,
use that. all you did.
you had a 4-pack of cigarettes. 4 cigarettes in a pack.
They did not. The cigarettes, they stopped issuing cigarettes. So
They shouldn't have done that.
I mean, I don't know. I suppose they should have. But
Oh, well, because when smoking came out back then, it was like, "Ooh, hey guys, this is the great way to do it." Like I said, in all the retro videos that are out there,
Yeah, we all smoked.
everybody's smoking. It's friggin' bad.
I know a lot of the Black Marines wanted cools.
Yep.
So, if you had the cool cigarette, we'd save them. Mm-hmm. But, if you had 2 4-packs
Yeah.
and they had Marlboros, so you could exchange those 2 4-packs for like 6 4-packs of Marlboro Winston.
How much were in a pack back then?
Just 4.
Okay,
4
that's
cigarettes.
it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they had these skinny little packs.
Wow. It's crazy how much the evolution of the military. You
Yeah.
know. And then now I don't even know what the fuck's in MREs now. I'm hoping it's some of the same old stuff that we had.
yeah,
He brought one home.
I don't know.
And I said, "What is this?" He said, "Dad, it's an MRE." And I said, "What the hell's an MRE?" He said, "It's really good." And it was like this vacuum pack thing,
It depends what it is. Some of them were good. Some of them were terrible.
You got to make it good. You
Yeah.
got to
We
combine.
used hot sauce on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still give you the little Tabasco sauce. That's still a thing. Yeah.
Yep, you got to combine everything to make a really good meal, and then shit yourself later.
But we found we were doing a lot of times, we would take a sock full of rice with us, and you take a frag and throw it in the water, and the fish would come to the top.
Yeah.
They would be stunned. And little Vietnamese kids would run in and grab all these fish, and they'd give you some, and they'd keep some, and we'd have fish and rice and lots of Tabasco sauce instead of eating sea rations.
Dick Jay's going to yell at Sheila.
What kind of fish?
I don't know.
Probably.
No idea.
Man, yeah.
What, the fish?
Yeah, they weren't big. They were like, 6, 8 inches long.
Probably like maybe.
And then they used to get pissed at us because, we'd cut the head and the tail off and gut it. And
No, they just eat the fish.
they ate the whole friggin' thing.
Yeah, if you ever order seafood in an Asian restaurant, be careful because you might actually see the entire fish in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you have to say cooked? What's the key
No,
word?
I mean they cook it.
Yeah.
They cook it. It's just it might be a whole fish. You might be looking at the fish head.
And then it'll be what, $30?
I don't know. I don't eat fish like that. But
The one thing that scared me the most too over there, other than the leeches, no matter what you did, he blousing garters, the leeches got under your fatigues,
Yeah.
but snakes.
Fuck
I was-
snakes.
yeah, he
Fucking-
really is afraid of snakes.
Yeah, no, fuck snakes, man.
Oh my
I think I
God.
told you about my snake story. Out in 29 Palms.
Ugh,
Wait.
rattlesnake.
Yeah. Fuck that thing.
Oh yeah.
Like a big baby. I cry and panic. It's complete panic mode for me.
The first time I actually saw one, we had this kid with us, Private Murray. He was from Rattlesnake Hollow, Kentucky,
Oh boy.
and we're freaking out. And he just like it was nothing. He walked over it, and kind of just blew us off. Took the M16, banged it on the friggin' head. He killed it, and he put it in his shirt. And I said, "What are you doing?" There's good eating. Stay away from me.
Yeah.
The Southerners, they ate snake.
Dude, they're savage people down there. I mean, the way they hunt, the way they do everything down there is so different, compared to what we're like, I would say city slickers, but we're in a more civilized, populated area.
I don't know. I like the unpopulated areas myself, but
You live in Easton, bro. We might as well put you in Boston.
I'm not going to stay in Easton, as you well know.
Yes, I know that. You're not going anywhere, man.
I hope not.
Not for a few years, anyway.
Oh. So, well, everybody, this is going to be the end of part 1. And we'll catch you next week for part 2.
Well, Johnny Cash, another episode in the books. That's it for today, but the journey doesn't end here. Every veteran has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. If you're a veteran with a message, a challenge, or a triumph to share, we want you to join us.
Your experience matters to us. And together we can inspire others and remind the world what resilience truly looks like. Until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone in this fight. We'll see you on the next episode.
Cool.
The Veteran Project. 4 vets, 5 vets.
We are not responsible for any trauma, PTSD, tinnitus, or flashbacks during this podcast.